By now, you've probably had a good gawp at the new trailer that dropped yesterday from Gamescom, but what a lot of you may not have seen or not even been aware of is that Bungie drop press kit stuff as well, which I've had a good look through, and it really shines a light on a lot of things to do with the new stasis abilities, and there's some lovely new stills and things like that as well. So let's go through the footage from the press kit as opposed to the trailer, because you may not have seen it, and we'll have a little chat about what we're seeing. And don't forget, if you enjoy the video, give me a thumbs up, that would be really marvellous indeed, or a subscribe and a comment as well about what you think about these new stasis abilities. Now the first thing you notice about this press kit footage is that there's no music, there's no jazzy editing really, it's just kind of gameplay footage. And the first thing we see, it looks like a Titan ability rather than a super. There's no HUD on this, so we're making guesses really, but it does look like a super character, a Titan character animation to me, and it looks kind of like a slam with a freezing effect as well, and then the enemies shatter, so that looks quite cool. That's definitely an ability as opposed to a super, I think. The next thing we see, it looks like a grenade ice wall, so he bungs a grenade and the ice wall springs up, but then what we've got happening, we'll watch it a few times, is that they shoot the ice wall with the bow, and then it explodes and sends off all these shards of stasis crystals everywhere. Now, if you do actually go and have a look at the website, you'll be able to see the 3 characteristics of the new stasis super, and this is definitely showing one of them. We'll have a quick look at the website, and you can see it says stasis field, so that's one of the first ones. Even the odds by slowing your enemies in stasis fields, that slows them right down, and then you can shoot them nice and easy. We do kind of have that already though with some of the mines, you know, that slow down time, that'll get a right pain in the ass. Well, there we go, that's a stasis field. Then we've got the freeze, which we're seeing a lot of, particularly with the Warlock super. A frozen foe is a conquered foe, so it looks like if you're frozen, you're practically dead. Control the battle by immobilizing enemies in solid stasis. And finally, what we've just seen there with our Titan is shatter. A hail of icy razors erupts from broken stasis crystals, damaging those unlucky enough to be near. So we can see he's shooting the wall's exploding, and then the shatter effect, the icy razors from the stasis crystals are kicking everybody's faces in. This looks like, well, they're almost like detonatable mines if you think about it, because you throw the grenade, it creates a wall, you can use it to traverse, but then you can also destroy it to shoot out a hail of these deadly crystals. Excellent stuff. Plus, of course, it's not just the one who chucks the grenade would be the one to be able to use it. Another character could shoot and use it, so we're starting to see, well, what looks like an even bigger building on of teamwork, which is a good thing, because we're all friends here, aren't we? Warlocks, Titans and Hunters, they all love each other. Next, we get a quick glimpse of the ShadeBinder Warlock super. You can see them using the staff and freezing everything, and then we can see the Titan sliding in with the shotgun and destroying them. More evidence of teamwork there. And it's worth noting that the way Bungie have edited this press kit footage, it's not all going in a linear fashion, because you can see the beginning of the Warlock super being cast there, but you don't see how it finishes. We see that a little bit later on, in the same way they split up the Titan super as well in the footage. But we are seeing the strong teamwork gameplay mechanic that's going to be really important, I reckon. Probably incredibly important in the raid, isn't it always, but even more so. And they also show off some lovely locations on Europa, and we also see some of the new weapons. One of the stills that they provided in the press kit, you might have already seen it before, but it's quite nice to see. You can see all the different weapons that we've got, the auto rifles, the pulse rifles, a sidearm, looks like a rocket launcher as well. So, and a scout rifle there as well, I reckon, too, so you can see the design and when they're carrying it. And I think this one looks like an exotic to me, or it could possibly be an exotic. The reason why I think that is that there's extra animations just on the end there. You can see like the electrical fizzle going on, which is quite interesting, although they don't show much more of that. Next, we also, I think we've already kind of seen this really, but we know for sure now the way they've cut it. You can see a Hunter flinging a grenade, and then it lands and creates the stasis walls that we can use in our traversal. And also, I suppose once you've leapt over to the other side, you can shoot them and explode them as well to kill any gits and turnips who may be on your tail. Quite like that, that's good. Now what we're looking at here is the second half of the Titan super. We haven't seen him raise into the air, but we just see him slam down, and there's a lovely top-down shot of where you can see the patterns of the stasis crystals crisscrossing along the floor. But what's cool is it freezes all the enemies, but it also freezes any enemies in midair, like you can see here, and then followed up with a kind of Titan ground smash, or almost like a Code of the Missile kind of thing, really. I'm not too sure if this is actually part of the super or is just an ability. It could well be a two-part super, but, well, draw your conclusions from that. Let me know in the comments what you reckon. Next, we've got what looks like a freezing grenade attack. So they chuck the grenade, freezes the gits, and then we just sort them all out with our weapons and they all shatter. I suppose when they do shatter as well, they give off the stasis crystals too, so anybody caught nearby has a kick-in, like it said on the website there. The footage then pauses for a minute and we see the lovely Jupiter rise there on Europa. Very, very nice. A really amazing looking crystal cavern. The way it's been made, it's so bizarre. Almost like it's been made with sound waves or ripples or something. It looks really, really good. And then we've also got this more industrial looking area as well. It must still be on Europa. I don't think it's going to be the Cosmodrome. It looks very Europa-y, but we're about to have some more industrial stuff rather than all wilderness stuff, I'd have thought. Because, you know, it looks more like a PvP map, I suppose. Right, lots of things to take note of from here on in. So first of all, we're seeing what looks like the Titan Behemoth Slam, and it's a roaming super as well. As you can see, he's wandering around, creating ice crystals, smashing them and shattering them and kicking people's asses while doing that, which is really, really good. But this is the first footage that we've seen with some HUD information in it. You can see it down there in the bottom left. So we've got what looks like the super symbol, and then we've got next to it which looks like the ability symbol, which looks like the slam, and then there's the Titan wall ability there as well, which looks like that's going to be stasis ability too. Bear in mind, these could all be placeholders, and they might not actually be what we see in the finished game, because it looks blue, which would suggest arc, which of course it isn't. So that's interesting. We also see the super is actually named. It says when they cast it, it's called a glacial quake. That's very interesting to see. And also, you can see at the top there, it says crystalline plating, which obviously is some kind of resilience boost that you get when you're casting the super to give you a shield, so you can endure loads more whilst administering ice-based kick-ins. Another thing of interest here, and I don't know if you've noticed, it says orbs of power, creating orbs of power, not orbs of light. So that could be, well, they can't collect light, can they? Because it's a dark subclass. So why aren't they calling them orbs of dark? I don't know, but they've just called them orbs of power here. It's only a word, they could easily change it. But I can't see any being cast off either, because obviously they're collecting them too quickly for us to see. So that's something to keep an eye on. Then we move on to the Warlock. Actually, this is the one with the least information. They don't have any shots with any HUD info in it either. But the first thing that I really noticed about it was you can actually see the Warlock transform into some kind of ice crystalline person. It's almost like a superhero transformation, you know, like when Bobby Drake turns into Iceman, which I think is really, really neat. Then we see a triple shot from the staff, which freezes the three foes or gits, and then we have a Titan slamming in and smashing them. And then what I think we see is the second part of the super. They've cut it in again. They've cut something into the center, so you freeze it with the staff that you can see, and then the Warlock holds the staff into the air and gives out a wave of power which shatters everything that's frozen within a certain area, which is excellent. I love the staff. It looks really cool. It's looking more and more eldritch. Nice word. Every day, the old Warlock. Marvellous. He's even carrying a book on his uniform, look. I made a rhyme then. Next, we've got the Hunter. Now, we can see the super being activated here. And if we look at the info on the HUD we've got this time, we can see it's called Silence and Squall. Now, it looks like two of those, well, really big versions of mountain climbers' hammers. You know, the ones that they use to hack into the ice when they're climbing up the wall. They've got one in each hand, and then when they throw them, it hits, and then there's an explosion which gives off an area of effect which freezes them. So it looks really, really cool. It looks like you get two shots with that. And if we look at the HUD stuff that we've got there, you can see there's the throwing star ability that we saw in the previous trailer. But what's cool about this is it hits more than one person. So it'll go back, hit one, hit another, and then come back. And you can see there's actually two available here. Now, I don't know whether that's to do with the armor that the Hunter's wearing, because you do wear armor that can double up on certain things. But it could also be within the Stasis skill tree itself, where you can actually have double ability throws. Like, for example, the Titan can have double grenades in the Solar subclass. So it could be a build that we're looking here directly from the Stasis tree, but we haven't seen anything of that yet. But we are going to be seeing a reveal of Warlock, Hunter, and Titan stuff more in depth. And looking at the website here, you can see the Warlock is on September the 1st, the Titan on the 3rd, and the Hunter on the 8th. So keep an eye out there. Right, this next bit is ruffling a few feathers and no mistake, because it's PvP. And this could be, well, it could be great fun if you're dishing it out, but I don't think it's going to be great fun when you're receiving it. A Hunter throws a stasis grenade here, and you can see freezes 2 Guardians, and then uses the, like, nunchuck throwing, not nunchuck, it's a throwing star type thing that we saw earlier, and kills them both dead immediately. Is that going to end up being incredibly annoying or incredibly good fun? I don't PvP that much, although I do enjoy a game as it's marvellous fun, but I'm not, like, you know, crazy about it. But I can see how I'd enjoy it, but it would also really get on the nerves of the serious players. So we'll have to see how that develops. And the final part, this is really interesting. We can see a Titan, he's got his super active, he's running towards the wall, he throws a grenade whilst in a super state. The grenade creates a wall which he uses to hide behind, and then lands, smashes them all, freezes them all, and then we've got the Warlock coming in and shattering them with his staff maneuver that we saw at the end of that last super, which is leading me to think, actually, that the Warlock move there we're seeing is an ability, not a super. I can't see him in a super state or anything, so that could just be an ability whereby if you see any frozen foes, you can activate your ability and you will be able to shatter them within a radius using your staff. This is all complete speculation, but that's what it looks like to me. What do you think? I don't know. Anyway, these are some of the stills that we got on the press kit as well, which I thought you might like to have a little look at while we sum up what we've just watched. And what have we just watched? Well, we've gotten loads more information, first of all, about the stasis abilities themselves and the supers. They look really good. They are definitely leaning very heavily on a team play mechanic, and I do like the frozen walls. That's going to lead to loads of larks where people are trying to get out of map and out of bounds and things like that. It's going to come in very handy for the more adventurous Guardians out there. So a lot of visual information to process there. Plus, on Gamescom this weekend, they're doing another bit on Destiny 2. So once I hear anything about that, I'll stick it in the community tab so you all know what's happening. And if there's loads of interesting, juicy stuff, I'll make a little vid about it too, in case you've missed it, so you can digest all that's talked about. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Drop me a like if you did enjoy it, and a subscribe again, you know, just to get the numbers up like lad. And I shall see you all again incredibly, very marvellously soon.